Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. We're going live once again. I was live last night as well, but I wanted to speak on the idea of people pleasing a little bit more and just get back on live here with you guys. So here I am. Hello. My name is Taylor Marie. I am an intuitive. I am from Omaha, Nebraska. And today's topic is going to be about people pleasing. And I wanted to really narrow in on the dynamics that we see nowadays. It's very common to see this, but intimate websites. We're going there. You guys know exactly who you're talking to. My name is Taylor. I'm an intuitive. I love talking about intimacy. So my content is definitely not for everybody, but the source definition of intimacy and what we see playing out throughout our collective here nowadays in 2026. It is the summer of 2026, and this became very big in 2020. You guys remember when everything was closing down and everybody was trying to find ways to create sources of income. And so there was a lot of men and women who went to the internet to start doing these intimate acts online and creating somewhat of a self-sustained business. Doing so, I just wanted to give you guys more information of like what would bring you to that. And so a lot of it did come down to the lesson of seeing yourself as the best thing ever. And in this way of manipulation or people pleasing, we contort ourselves. I don't want you guys to ever think that like this was sometimes an easy decision for people to make, getting onto those websites. It's not. It's not an easy decision for somebody to make. People are using, let me give you a percentage here. 78% of people are doing it because it's like a last ditch effort to creating a source of income because they don't have any money coming in. And I know I've been there before. Where I turned to, when I had no money coming in, I had no money. Okay, so that's just part of the lessons that we have coming to Earth, is that you have to create value in some sort of way, connecting to your internal attributes. So the skill sets that you have, the way that you show up in rooms, the people that you came here to help. But when I had no money coming in, my thought was like, let me just get onto these websites and I can start creating content, doing that intimate content to create value, which is money. And that was like the only thing I kind of knew at the time. And I was wildly emotional. When I had no money. So I was doing really out of alignment things with my true core self. So at one point I have made an account on these intimate websites. Did it get very far whatsoever? No. No, it did not, guys. I'm not sure if you would ever want to view that, but it did not get very far because I am here to help you guys understand more about this. So when people, I just want you guys to understand, when people get onto these websites to perform intimate acts, it's from a wound. It is from a deep, deep, deep wound. It is not because they're like, ooh, yay, let me do that. They are either like at their wit's end with money. They have all kinds of trauma going on and they're trying to figure out a way. They're finding solutions. And that's what we like. We like the brilliance of always finding solutions. But there is different ways to create. There is different ways to create money. There is different ways to create funds coming in. So I'm going to not only tell you a woman's perspective of creating the online website space of intimacy, and then also the guys who watch it, because grow up. That's where I am right now in my self-image healing situation of, you don't need to turn to the internet to find intimacy. You create that feeling within yourself. If you have to turn to the intimate situation online, it means that you have limiting beliefs somewhere. saying, I don't believe I can have a relationship in this lifetime. I don't believe I can find a soul partner in this lifetime that can fulfill me, right? And that's wildly untrue. Wildly untrue. What we are meant to do is come against those limiting beliefs, make them your BITCH, and go forward with the things that you came here to do, because you're here to help people. You're here to help people. The reason why I have like all of my artwork is very centered around like the intimate space online is because I'm here to teach you guys. I have had so many friends in the industry and I've watched it ruin their life. I've held people at their lowest and been like, I've held people at their lowest when they had no money coming in, when their only option was to do this. I've also been there. So I'm making a big fuss about it because it's a big deal. A lot of people right now are thinking, I can just turn to this website and it's going to fix all of my problems. Temporarily, yes. Temporarily, you're going to watch the intimate scenes online. It's going to get you a fix. It's going to get you a dopamine hit. You'll be right back. You'll come right back with your wallet open. And then what? You're not investing in yourself. You're investing in what? You're investing in what? A dopamine hit? Okay. Investing in yourself means maybe I don't get the partner for 10 years, but I'll learn every single aspect of what it takes to get the partner, so I'll actually enjoy it when it comes. We don't actually want the low-hanging fruit, but it's easy right now, and it makes people complacent. The low-hanging fruit is going to make you lazy AF. And the masochistic part of me is like, hold that thing back from me and make me wait for it. Because I know that if I have to wait for it, if I have to earn it, I will then enjoy it 10 times, 1,000 times more than if I was just handed something. So anyway, back to women creating this online space. We're very smart. Women are very smart. But there is a manipulative energy of, if I can manipulate a man to think that I am attractive or do certain acts to get the attention or the money from a man, then I'm able to sustain myself here through people pleasing. You are pleasing somebody else to get what you want. Your core self was built up of attributes that will blow everything out of the water, but you also have to stand on business with that. You also have to know who you are when you show up into rooms. You have to lead. And a leader's not going to go, do you like how I posed in this? Do you like what outfit I have? No. Honestly, when it comes to outfits, I'm very much so a black cat. I'm like, you get what you get. Like, 'tis what it is. But when you get into the online space, it's not about you no more. It's about what your audience wants. Then you create an entire life off of what your audience wants rather than your core self. This is why I got off social media. I'm on YouTube, obviously, because I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to teach. But it's not going to be yours. It's not going to be something that you created. It's going to be somebody else's rendition of what they think would look good for you. And so when I talk about women getting onto the online space, they think it's all this, that, and the third because they see other women creating funds or creating money from it. You don't understand the whole picture. They're going to have the hardest time finding any kind of relationship in this lifetime. And you're like, well, this one creator has a relationship. I promise you, with intuition, you're going to find a soulmate. We have multiple of them in this lifetime. And you can go to somebody who has working intuition and say, how many soulmates do I have in this lifetime? What are my potentials right now for bringing that person in? And also, we have multiples. We have multiple soulmates, depending on, if you guys think of like potentials kind of like a highway and there's exits. Sometimes we get turned around, you got to go through the exit, you know? But there's exits on highways as far as your potentials go, where we could meet up with a soul partner if we were to understand the tools behind how to bring them in. It's not just going to be like, I'm going to get on a dating website and then meet them. You have to know every single cranny, nook, all of it, in order to bring something that dense into your field. And it all comes down to self-image, because I've talked to you guys before on my podcast of what a 4 to 4 soulmate would be, which is your support system. And when we don't feel supported in this life by God, by source, by the creator, you guys have heard me talk about the higher power as the designer, because you are the creator inside of the design. And so the law of focus is at play. Whatever you focus on, you get more of. There's a law of balance. There's a law of bubbles. There's a law of all of these things. And then we also have intuition, so we can read into different energies. We can read into the light body of all things. So with that being said, when as a woman, I got into the online space and I was like, I will be more loved if I have a certain body type, or if I work out at the gym, and if I do all of this stuff. Is that the truth? I'm saying to myself, Taylor, you will look better if you have this. Is that the truth? Did my higher self create me wrong because I didn't have a certain physique? No. I am going against all of the limitations, all of the contagions going on right now of people saying, oh, you would look better if you did this. Oh, this person's getting praised because they have this physique. Oh, this person's getting praised because they have this designer bag. Externally is not going to fill you. Nothing external is going to fill you. It's going to be this chase. It's going to be a keeping up with the Joneses situation. And also, the people who have so much praise coming in around their physique usually don't like themselves. Like, if you look in intuitively and like check their thoughts, they're very hypercritical of themselves. Very hypercritical of themselves. And so what we're meant to do is go back to who we are at our core, which is all of our attributes, meaning the things that make up our soul. Our presence with people, that's one of them. Your ability to be present in a conversation. Our locking into details. These are all attributes that we have, right? So with those attributes, we're able to create value rather than having to go onto an online app or an online intimate website to create value, which is money coming in. But I've seen it happen so many times to women who are brilliant, and I see their soul potentials, and then they get into these online spaces and it detours them because they haven't locked into how brilliant their soul is at the core. You are here to help a lot of people and do a lot of things, but if we only see ourselves as the physical version, it takes away from all of the internal work that you have ever done on yourself. So, like I was saying before, we don't need to shame or blame people if they're in this circumstance that is wildly not, moving potentials forward. But what we do need to do is understand that we are more than our external presentation. There is layers to you. The things that I like to lock into as far as like things that make up who I am, because somebody might very surface level look at me and be like, well, you're a pretty girl, Taylor. I am, but I have locked into the attributes that make me beautiful. And it is wildly not just my physical being. How I grew up is crazy. How I made friends growing up is crazy. How all of these things that happened in my past, I bring them to the current times, and I see how it all worked out for me. How it was all, even if it was like the worst thing ever, mind you guys, I've had a bullet go off from my head living in an apartment. I've had my car repossessed. I've been evicted from an apartment. I've been cheated on. I've had everything thrown in my face times 1,000. I'm here to tell you guys my testimony. I'm here to help you. And I want you guys to understand that you are more than just your physical external reality. This is buffered. This is buffered energy. So, like I was telling you guys in my last video, I'm currently living with my grandma as a 28-year-old. Obviously, I'm moving into a 4,000 square foot home, but I've been at my lowest. And I've had to build myself up in my self-image, knowing if I don't have a car, if I don't have a house, if I'm homeless, I'm still valuable. You came into this world through your mother with nothing. With nothing. You didn't have a Lamborghini, okay? Maybe you did. But even without the Lamborghini, you are valuable. You are meant to know you are valuable to your core, regardless if you have an intimate website, regardless if you have a job, regardless if you have a car, you are valuable. And it's fruity for me to get on here and be like, you're valuable, yay. Now we're all better. But locking into it, standing on business with yourself and saying, how am I valuable? I show up for people every single day when they don't want to show up for themselves. So, with that being said, a lot of the time when people in general are turning to intimate websites for either the entertainment aspect or to create a career, a very limited career, a job, when they turn to those things, it is from a lack of self-image place. It is from not seeing your value come from your attributes, the things that you came here to share with the world. It's why so many people kind of push against it. And I always like to take like a very balanced approach to everything, because otherwise I can't get people on my, like, seeing what I'm trying to explain. But when I see the potentials of people and they're literally just sleeping on themselves because of a wound, because of some kind of traumatic situation, it's like, well, now what? Like, we have to get you out of this hole to see how brilliant you are, to see how captivating you are. And that is what's going to be fulfilling in life. A lot of people go for the money, but the money will never heal you. A lot of people that have money in this lifetime don't want to be here. And you can look into that with intuition. People that have substantial amounts of money, they don't have to, they don't struggle. They don't struggle. So what is their purpose? Without intuition, it's kind of like, well, I don't know. So that's where intuition comes in, and we're able to build off of the things that you already... My hair is very fluffy today. But where we build off of foundational things. So you all came here to create really amazing things in this lifetime, and one of them being a platform, an audience that gets you at a core level. So, I mean, I've heard it. There's so much limitation. There's so much limitation around people's idea of self. And we are just at a wild amount of low, like very, very low self-image collectively, because we weren't grown up with these tools. So it's not like I can sit here and be like, dang it, Taylor, you didn't know when you were 7 that you have all these tools and like you have intuition. Like, I can't beat myself up around the things I didn't know 2 years ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 days ago. I'm learning, and so are we. Like, we're all just collectively learning. So there is ways to create a life that you actually want to live, that's in alignment with who you are at your core, and not having to sacrifice, like, I mean, everything comes with balance. You will have to sacrifice some things in order to build foundations. But what I am saying is that you get to have the impact regardless of anything. And so I don't want people to think that since they entertained the idea of creating a job online in the intimate space, that they can no longer help people. No, like, we need you out here. We need you out here, because so many people will feel shame and guilt around creating that online space. And I want to be able to help people understand that it's okay, that I've literally had like crazy circumstances go on with myself, and I've dug myself out of every single hole. So it's a lot easier also for me to look into somebody else's energy than it is to look into mine, because we get emotional around our own things. And when your emotions go up, your intuition's out the door. Your intuition is just no longer with us. So with that being said, I want you guys to create the best relationships. I want you guys to create the best financial situations. We can't do that unless we are locked into the core attributes of ourselves. And so that's what I show up every single day talking to you guys about. And then also giving you guys my testimonies. I do have a podcast on Spotify, and it is called The Flying Changes Podcast. It is all about my testimony. It is all about my stories. Once again, I've had a bullet go a foot from my head while living in an apartment. They never fixed the wall. I have traveled across the United States to go work with horses. And I've been fired from every single job working with horses, because when we have a lot of knowledge, we're meant to go into spaces and lead. And the people that I was working for, we're not looking for that. Like, they were not looking for guidance. They were looking for somebody to work under them. So it didn't work out. But by the grace of God, it didn't work out. So with that being said, I will leave you guys with this. If you guys have any questions or would like to chat with me, my email is open to you guys. I'm working on getting a website in place. I do have a website at the moment. You guys can go check it out on my Instagram. I'm not active on Instagram, but I have my website linked, as well as an email for you guys to send in whatever you would like. And what else? My podcast on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for giving up this time out of your day to sit with me and to chat a little bit about this intimate idea of creating value in a different way that maybe you hadn't thought about. But I love you guys with my whole entire heart, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye guys, love you.